All right, so we want to talk a little movie news, Keith. What do we got going on here?
Yeah, sure. So, you might think, Jay, that this is a little off topic for the Parts Counter Gurus, but it's actually not for a couple reasons.
I don't think so. We've been known to have an actor on film, come on our, from film and from TV and from commercials, come on and talk to us more. So we think actors like cars and stuff too, don't you think? Hell, there are cars that are stars.
Well,
right? Herbie.
Yeah.
You got Herbie, Chitty Bang Bang. I mean, we can go on all day about cars and people who drive it. The Bullet, right?
I can take this from another angle.
Yeah.
Every car enthusiast likes the movies, right?
Oh, you're damn right.
So
yes,
we've talked about this very topic several times on the podcast before.
Excuse me while is it refreshment time?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Did you pause for how long?
By the way, we're testing out a new green screen, and so I thought it was appropriate to have a green drink in my hand just to see what would happen. But I digress. So,
will we be able to get refreshments at our leisure?
I see where you're going with this. So,
will they? Yeah.
Right. So we've talked about this topic of going to the movies before and the future of them. And didn't we do a podcast titled "Future of the Movies"? Something like that?
We did.
Okay.
And it's about the whole pandemic thing. And this goes. And for those of you that are just coming into this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go to partscounterguru.com. There's an icon up at the upper right-hand corner to hit it there. Or you can just go right to youtube.com/partscounterguru. While you're there, smash that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, because those thumbs help us. We like it.
Yeah.
And if you like us, we like you.
So for sure. And I would also say that if you want to go back and check out that previous podcast that we mentioned, you can also find that on our website at partscounterguru.com.
Absolutely. Just please go there and just, what is it, podcast link?
Yeah, it says, I think we shortened it to podcast at the top because, podcast links was confusing or whatever. So
you people are now in the know. There you go.
So we speculated about what had to happen, and we talked about with Regal Cinemas shutting down and AMC shutting down, and then both of those companies stating or declaring that they had some financial issues, and all what we called in the previous episode, I think we called them tentpole movies, the big movies, right? Your big blockbuster summer movies. The one right now that's on everybody's radar that's about to drop this summer is Top Gun Maverick. So, interestingly enough, Warner Brothers did something over the holidays with Wonder Woman, and they chose to partner with HBO, and HBO subscribers got access to that movie at the same time, or I think maybe even slightly before it hit the theater. So, what does
the movie industry refer that to when they release them like that? What is it referred to as, Keith? It's a day and
well, yeah, they're calling it a day and date release. So this is okay. I have some thoughts on this, but I wanna finish the first thought before I go on to the next one. So Disney is next in line here. So they pushed back the Black Widow movie, which, Jay, for those of you that aren't comic book nerds, she's one of the main characters in the Avengers. And she has her own movie that was supposed to come out last summer that got pushed back because of the pandemic. So now they're moving it from summer 2020 to summer 2022. Well, now Disney has just announced that both Black Widow, the movie, and Cruella are going to premiere day and date, as you just mentioned, in theaters and on Disney Plus.
Oh, and you pay, if you get it on Disney Plus, you pay what is it average, like a $25 a shot, $30 or something like that to rent it or whatever. Now, do you physically own it, or is that just a rental?
I think it's I might be mistaken here, but it's similar if you think about Netflix. It's the way Netflix works. So as long as your subscription is good, you can watch that show.
Gotcha.
Right?
Once you pay the price, yeah. Which I love that.
So here, think of it this way: if you have Apple Music, you're actually not owning any of those songs with Apple Music, but you can listen to them and stream them and download them as long as that subscription is current, right?
Gotcha. Yes.
So this is the thought. Now, we talked about this before, and this thought, what we said previously was, how are these movies going to make, how are they going to make money with not enough butts and seats, right? With only half the seats filled, and you've got to sell enough tickets to pay for that movie, right?
Right. So if they release the movie and it's only to, like, say, the theaters, and the theaters are only at reduced capacity because of the COVID, then you have a big issue on hand. You're going to lose your butts. So yeah, I guess you have to kind of think outside the box a little bit when you do this, so that you can kind of, I guess, capture a broader audience. And my goodness, just sitting here thinking about this, if Disney is releasing this, then doesn't that kind of like cut the middle guy out, and they're making a ton of more money by doing that way anyway?
Right. So that's an interesting concept, because basically they're trying to channel people into, they're the production studios. Marvel, Disney owns Marvel. Black Widow's a Marvel movie. Cruella's a Disney movie. Right. And if you're not, so the way that, I'm sure everybody knows this, but those movie theaters are paying for access to those movie reels, right? And then they sell the tickets, and there's agreements worked out and all that, but yeah,
because they'll have. I know that, like, it used to be when you see a movie come out, they would have some sort of exclusivity agreement with the studio that would allow them. But there's so many. They had to be careful with that, because back in the day, I can remember the piracy thing was like nuts, when the theaters only would have these things, and it would be like a year or two down the road before they would come out on VHS or beta. Of course, now you can stream everything. So it's kind of where have they drawn the line with the exclusivity agreement with these theaters now? Because theaters obviously can't produce the revenue that a studio needs to pay for that movie on its own at 50% capacity, right?
If you're not able to sell tickets to Regal Cinemas and AMC for the hundreds of millions of dollars that these movies cost, the speculation that we had is, and this is something I kind of want to talk to Marlon about, then it becomes more of like a Netflix style produced movie, which those are not to the production scale of like Avengers, right? Or Top Gun Maverick, or those are just the two that come to mind, but you get it, the big tentpole blockbuster movies,
right?
So that's the one question that I don't think we've solved yet, is we as moviegoers have fallen in love with these massive special effects, the huge production quality. Recently Zack Snyder just spent somewhere near $70 million to redo or do his cut of the Justice League movie, which came out in 2017. So $70 million just to re-release it with some added scenes. Now I know it's a lot longer now and all that.
Yeah.
But still, think about this from the perspective of offsetting the cost that it's going to take. Are they going to sell enough Disney Plus memberships to pay for these blockbuster movies, right?
Yeah, well, that's hard to say, and I think that they're banking on that, because, if you look at where we're at now, are they trying to regain the losses from 2020 by doing this now? Because by the end of the year, I think we may be at even greater capacity if we can get everyone, vaccinated.
Right, but clearly the movie industry doesn't, they don't have the confidence yet in the theaters to do it alone. Remember,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
they're basically operating like banks. In a lot of these cases, they loan the money to foot the cost of shooting that movie and producing that movie and paying the massive amounts of staff. Right.
Right.
In the case of Black Widow, Top Gun Maverick, all these movies that have been shelved, Wonder Woman was another example. That's money the bank has loaned out that they're waiting to recoup.
Right.
They just added another year to that loan. I've noticed, and I don't know if you caught this or not, but Disney had a Pixar movie slated for a summer release. Now, Pixar, of course, right?
Yep.
And that was supposed to be an in-theater movie. But they've just decided that, and this is to your point of at what capacity will those theaters be this summer or this next fall, that they're going Disney Plus only on June 18th with the movie Luca. So it's exclusively streaming to Disney Plus, and that's a just think about that. Okay, Pixar, Toy Story, Cars.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Finding Nemo, right?
Yeah, okay. All those.
They're going straight to Disney to streaming.
Wow. Yeah. So again, furthering what you were saying is that they just don't have faith in the industry right now to put it into that theatrical setting and just bank on that's where it's gonna be. So we've got, what is it? Regal made the announcement they're going to be reopening, and this announcement from Disney came on the heels of that.
Right.
So do we gotta have a wedge kind of like?
It's almost a so what from Disney. It's almost a but. It's like, okay, well, you're reopening. Okay, so the official, it's I found this on it's all over. You just pick your favorite newswire, okay?
Yeah.
They announced a reopening planning in April in the U.S. And they're going to coincide with a couple big movies, Mortal Kombat and Godzilla vs. Kong, on April 2nd and April 16th, right? So Disney's kind of going, but we're not willing to risk it. And so here's my and a lot of these places, they're restricted to 50% capacity. So I have this thought that keeps popping into my head. If you have not read, if you are at all a fan of Apple, or as a student of powerful icons in our history like Steve Jobs, like Elon Musk, like Thomas Edison, like Nikola Tesla, like Mark Twain, like just basically your huge, larger than life people that have really changed whatever their industry is, right? Go read Steve Jobs' biography. It's written by Walter Isaacson, and it's the one that Steve Jobs authorized and ordained. And there is a fascinating couple chapters in there that covers iTunes. Okay, now you got to remember, when Steve Jobs started with that concept, we had this thing called CDs.
Right.
Everybody remember? You know what I'm talking about, right, Jay?
I do. And then you also had the conflict with Napster.
Well, that was later. Okay,
that was later.
Right. So what people started to do? Well, actually, they were about the same time. You're right there.
I think so. Yeah.
So Steve said, "Hey, I'm gonna get all you record companies in line here, and we're gonna sell these songs for $1, right? And you're gonna own the song, and it's gonna be better than going out and buying the CD, and you just buy what you want." And initially, all the record companies pushed back, and they said, "Nope, not taking that risk," right? And so he got one to sign, and as soon as the dominoes started to fall, and that one company kind of started, they took a risk, and they saw some success. Then he got another one in line, and before you knew it, pretty much all the major record labels had their music on iTunes except for the Beatles,
man, we
right?
said this in that podcast, Keith, about Apple stepping in and
where is the innovation, right?
Yeah.
So this is, to me, this is CDs. This is iTunes version 2. So history repeats itself, I guess, in some sense. So this whole movie theater thing potentially is just like a compact disc right now.
Right.
And you're about to see a shift into streaming music that you, in this case, movies that you pay, and those in-person, tangible, physical items that we know of, discs, movie theaters, whatever, their days are probably numbered, man. Unless
they
something
are.
changes.
What's really sad about that, Keith, is yes, you can go to any major city and you have Cineplexes everywhere. You've got all of these big ones like Regal and what's ACM, right?
AMC.
AMC. They're there. But sadly, man, you have in the smaller markets, like where I live here, we have it is a 4-screen small theater that probably break even on the cost of showing the film, but are making their money on the concessions. And I see that probably in 5 years, these mom and pop operations, these smaller market theaters are going to be completely gone. It's sad, and that may even be the same way for some of the larger ones, like a Regal or an AMC.
I'm going to leave you and our audience with this. You may have seen this. We haven't talked about it before now, but if you have a Netflix account, go check out The Last Blockbuster, which is a movie about the last remaining Blockbuster video. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's a movie rental. They started with VHS and then they went to DVD, right? But people tend to think that Netflix killed Blockbuster, and that's really not the case. You'll have to watch the documentary to learn, all of the reasons, but there are some real similarities here in what Blockbuster did and what they did with the movie industry and what's going on right now. See, for example, did you know the reason Blockbuster got to be so big, and you just mentioned the mom and pops, when those movies would initially come out on VHS, they were $100, $200, some of them, to buy.
I remember that.
Nobody could afford that. So a movie rental place would go buy a couple copies, and then they'd just rent them out, right? And they'd make their money back.
Yeah.
So it's a similar model with theaters, right? Like, that's a very expensive get for them to pay to have access to show that movie. Right? And they're trying to get their money back. And here we go again, just like Netflix did, we've got a streaming competitor coming in on the side. Which it'll be interesting to see how many more similarities and differences there end up being.
Which ironically, the last Blockbuster is streaming right now on Netflix. So you can check it out.
There is some irony in that.
Wow, man, I tell you, boy, how times have changed. And for those of you out there that say we can't wait to get back to normal, well, what you knew normal in 2019, the normal that we will now know from 2021 and beyond will not be what you knew then. So, and this is another fine example of that. So just be on the lookout for these changes and stuff. But I can say this, while you can, if you have a butt to put in a seat and you're willing to get out to a mom and pop theater, why don't you guys go ahead and give them a hand and go check out a movie before they are no longer around. So wishing those guys the best. Aren't you, Keith?
Yeah, man. I'd much rather drop popcorn on somebody else's floor.
Right.
Or if it's the other people in my household, I'd rather them spill their drinks on somebody else's floor. Right?
There you go. Yep. So, all right, bring out the popcorn. We'll call it good.
All right, everybody. So, thank you for watching. We appreciate it so much. Please go check out our YouTube channel, Parts Counter. It's youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, ring the bell, subscribe. Please and thank you. It means a lot to us. We have all kinds of other video segments available on that channel. A lot of them are automotive focused. And we also have a podcast. You can check that out at our website, partscounterguru.com. Till next time, that's Jay over there. I'm Keith. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you at the movies.